Oi, eu sou a Cris Couto com o primeiro presente MTV de 97 e começando muito bem. No programa de hoje você vai estar assistindo ao especial Madonna, a Idade da Virgem, em que a MTV americana desenterrou do começo dos anos 80 algumas entrevistas raras com a cantora. Naquela época, Madonna estava começando a estourar nas paradas e nem pensava em se tornar mãe e muito menos em ganhar um Globo de Ouro na pele de Evita.
We're here outside the old club Danceteria, which doesn't look much like a disco these days, but in any case, it's where Madonna first made her mark as a club performer. MTV News recently uncovered two early interviews with Madonna from May of 1984, just as she was hitting big with her first top 10 hit, Borderline.
Mark Goodman here this afternoon for JJ. I lucked out. Madonna has decided to drop by, and if JJ were on the air, he'd be doing this one.
Oh.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm very well.
We've been seeing, actually, a couple of your videos here for a while. And people may not be aware that although you were born in Detroit, you're a New York resident now, but you wound up going to England to get your first big acceptance. Why do you think?
Well, actually, I went to Paris.
Oh.
And why did I go there? Is that you're going to ask?
I was going to ask why you thought you had to go to Europe first. And
I didn't think
why?
I had to. It's just that when I first came to New York, I was a dancer, and a French record label offered me a recording contract, and I had to go to Paris to do it. So I went there, and that's how I really got in the music business, but I didn't like what I was doing when I got there, so I left, and I never did a record there.
You're real influenced by fashion. Fashion is important to you. Do you have fashion influences? Let's say, I don't know, maybe Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah, well, she's one of my favorite designers, actually.
Is she really?
World's End. That's a great store in England.
Yeah.
Great clothing shop. Whenever I go to England, that's where I buy all my clothes.
Are you the designer of your look, your hairstyle, the clothing?
Oh, yeah. Do you think someone else could come up with this? It's all right, you don't have to answer.
Before we go here, you have this leather jacket that, can we get a shot of, if she holds up the jacket, can we get a shot? And I kind of like it. It's got a lot of graffiti on there, and I wanted to just sort of give America a look at this. Now, of course, I know Andy Warhol.
The front's better, the front's better.
Okay.
Turn around.
And while we're giving America a look at this, maybe you could explain, you see it? What does boy toy mean to you?
Well, it's my tag name. It's what I write up on walls. What does it mean? What do you think it means?
Oh, you're good at that. Just turning those questions right around. Who could design the thing? Well, so boy toy is your graffiti name. You spray it on the walls around New York.
Yeah, but it also has a kind of humorous meaning to it.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
You're a relatively new face on MTV to us.
Yes.
2 videos now under your belt, and I must say that they're doing quite well.
Yeah, Borderline's doing really well.
A surprise at all to you?
Well, I knew the second video would do really well. I know it's really good, so I had faith in it already, but I'm glad that it is doing as well as it is doing.
Well, it was sort of surprising, and I'm glad. It was a good surprise. What are the next video plans for you then?
Well,
Do you have
I'm
any at this
working on an album right now with Nile Rodgers, and I hope to release the first single from it the first week of June. And I'll do a video to that, yeah.
And how long have you been working on the album?
For the last almost 2 months. It's almost finished.
Wow. What's it been like working with Nile?
Really great. He's a genius, I have to say, yeah.
Did you contact him?
Yeah, actually, well, my record company did. But as soon as we met, we hit it off really well and thought it would be a great union, so.
And it seems to have been.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
How has he helped you out over other people that have produced you in the past?
We just have a really good chemistry, and he understands my musicality. He's a trained musician, and I'm not really, and I don't know musical terminology. He can just read my mind, so.
Do you think he really knows how to work with a vocalist per se, then?
Yeah, well, he's very sensitive. I think he could work with anyone that's good.
You're also working on a new record now with Nile Rodgers, aren't you?
Right, I just finished it.
Oh, it's completed?
Yeah, it's done.
Oh, great. When is it going to be out?
It'll be out in June, as soon as Borderline fizzles out. Oh, please. No, I'm really excited about it.
Wait, you don't want to say that you want your song to fizzle out on MTV, do you?
No, I just want to put something new out.
Okay.
You can't do that till the other stuff isn't interesting anymore.
Of course, as we all know now, the hits just kept coming from Madonna's self-titled debut album, delaying by several months the release of her follow-up, Like a Virgin. When we return, a visit with Madonna at the New Music Seminar. Stick around.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
On the verge of getting drunk.
Welcome back to Early Madonna Raw. In the summer of 1984, while riding high on the charts with Lucky Star, Madonna's own star was rapidly on the rise. MTV News caught up with her here at the New York Hilton on a New Music Seminar panel with the likes of George Clinton, John Oates, Africa Bambaataa, Fred Schneider of the B-52s, Lou Reed, Peter Wolf, and the godfather of soul himself, James Brown.
Well, it was a real thrill to be sitting with some artists who I really respect and admire. James Brown, George Clinton, so on and so forth. And in addition to that, I felt like I had something to share with a lot of other people who are aspiring recording artists if they had any questions about what they could look forward to or any advice I could give them, before, on getting a record contract. So I think I had a valid contribution to make.
Videos might have a limited audience in one sense, but on the other hand, you could be reaching a lot of people that would never be able to come and see you live. So I think that they're definitely an advantage.
I think
And kids only, I'm sorry, but kids today worship the television. So I think it's a great way to reach them.
I sort of resent the fact that a kid grows up, listening to the radio and listening to the great music, legacy of music that we have, and dreams about playing the guitar or playing the drums, and all of a sudden has to be an actor. To me, that makes absolutely no sense at all. If someone wants to be, that's great. But as far as I'm concerned, I always wanted to be a musician. And, to me, that's still my purpose.
Yeah, but listen, when you perform on stage, you're acting. I mean, that's a performance. So if someone puts a camera on you, what's the difference? You're acting right now.
My definition of new music is something that's, fresh and reflecting of, the times, the politics, the fashion, the energy, something new, something that's applicable to what's happening in the world today.
How do you think your music fits into new music?
Well, to start off with, a lot of people thought that I was a black artist before they saw my videos because a lot of my music is more R&B oriented, and I think that I'm a white artist doing R&B music, getting played on pop stations, and I think that is the kind of records I make is really changing people's ideas of, splitting up, categorizing music, and I think that's opening up ways for black and white artists as well. So that's something new.
Starlight, starlight, the star I see tonight. Starlight, make everything alright.
I just finished recording an album with Nile Rodgers, and I hope to put it out in October, but they're still playing stuff off my last album, which I can't complain, but I'm really anxious to get the new stuff out. So you can expect a new release in October.
You start working on the videos with it now?
Yes, I have a video that's already ready for the new single I'm putting out in October. There's a video which I shot in Venice a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really excited about that too.
Can you give us some more of the details? Who directed it?
Mary Lambert directed it. She directed my Borderline video, and I worked with her again because I thought she was really great.
What's the title?
Like a Virgin.
Anything else?
No comment from the Peanut Gallery. I'm gonna do another video for the second release after Like a Virgin, and so I'm thinking about that. I'm also getting together a tour. I plan to go on tour upon the release of my album in October, an American tour of major cities, and possible parts in movies, but I can't really talk about that. So.
As far as your band for the tour?
Yeah, who am I going to use on the band? A lot of different people. Some people that I've been working with through the years. I mean, I had a band before I got a record contract, so some of those musicians, and I'm still not finished auditioning people, so I'm not even sure myself. But whoever they are, they're going to be great.
Well, despite all this talk, Madonna fans still would have to wait almost an entire year before a full-scale tour was launched. But the whole world got a taste of what she had to offer down the street at Radio City Music Hall at the first annual MTV Video Music Awards. Stay tuned. Welcome back to MTV News Raw. In the fall of 1984, at the first annual MTV Video Music Awards held right here at Radio City Music Hall, Madonna came down off a wedding cake to debut her new single, Like a Virgin, rolling around the stage with such reckless abandon that the whole world felt like they'd just been touched for the very first time.
Like a virgin, hey, touch for the very first time.
Just one day before that now classic performance, and right around the time she was filming Desperately Seeking Susan, MTV News spoke to Madonna about her second album, Like a Virgin, and about the rigors of her newfound fame.
Well, now that I'm successful, I have a million more things to worry about. Before, I was just basically interested in my survival, like what I was going to eat and what I was going to wear when it got cold outside and where I was going to live. But now I have to worry about who's ripping me off, and then is my accountant paying all my bills, and is my lawyer making all those deals for me, and, you know, boring and mundane things like that. Things I don't want to worry about. And I have to invest my money, or I'm going to be taxed, or, you know, and I have to find a place, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to pay everyone. And I have to hire people to make sure that everybody's doing all those things, and ugh. Well, the new album is a lot more grown up than the first album. It's a lot more well-rounded style-wise. I have 2 ballads on it, and I've never recorded a ballad before, and it's not, my first album was termed a dance record, you know, everything was up-tempo dance music, but this one is a lot of different kinds of sounds. There's some old stuff that sounds like old Motown, there's some really high energy, you know, stuff that maybe sounds more English, more techno, there's a lot of synthesizers, so I think it just shows my growth as a singer and a songwriter. I chose to work with Nile Rodgers because I think that he's a genius, and I wanted to work with a genius on my record. And I think that he embodies a lot of different styles that I think my music embodies. He's very close to the black sound, funk. I mean, the stuff he did with Chic and Sister Sledge and Diana Ross is phenomenal. But he's also made a lot of great pop records with David Bowie and Duran Duran, so, and In Excess, so I thought he'd be a great person for me to work with. And he's a great musician and arranger.
What made you come to New York?
I don't know. When I was 5 years old, I just woke up one day and I had this idea that I was going to come to New York. I just had to, and so I graduated, as soon as I graduated from high school, I came here. Well, I graduated like early, and I just kind of ran away and came here as soon as I could.
When you came here, was there something that you were looking for, or something you were trying to achieve?
Fame and fortune. Yeah. When you're a dancer, you act with you perform with your body. And I think I had a lot of things to say in other ways besides movement. So that's when I got into the music business. And to me, film is just the ultimate, you know, that's the embodiment of it all. You can do all that, only it's captured forever on celluloid.
And you can dance for inspiration.
The movie I'm working on is called Desperately Seeking Susan. It's directed by Susan Seidelman, who did a movie called Smithereens. And I play Susan. And Roseanne Arquette, Aidan Quinn, and Robert Joy are the, and Mark Blum are the other lead characters in the movie. And it takes place in New York. It's shot all in New York, and little bits and pieces of it are shot in New Jersey. And it's like a murder mystery comedy romance. It's kind of like old-fashioned screwball mystery, you know, like And the character I play is sort of a combination between Judy Holliday and Carole Lombard, but, you know, from a long time ago. So it's funny and light, and it's been a lot of fun so far, but a lot of hard work. It's a lot different than making records.
How do you feel about acting?
Well, acting is just, it's just another kind of performing. It's an expression, it's being honest with your audience, stuff like that. So to me, it's just an extension of what I do already, making videos and performing on stage.
Do you find acting or singing more challenging?
Acting. Singing comes a lot more naturally to me. When you make a movie, you really have to rely on your concentration because there's people standing all around you with cameras and lights and all sorts of electrical equipment, and it couldn't be further away from being like the real thing, and you have to ignore everything around you, everything's shot out of sequence. So you really have to just pretend you're somewhere else and try to concentrate and, you know, and remember how you got to where you are right now. Because a lot of times you shoot stuff that's happened in the actual movie before you've done the stuff that happens to get you where you are right now. Does that make any sense? For instance, you shoot the end of the movie, and so you have to work up the emotions for that scene, but you haven't even shot all the stuff before that, so it's very confusing, and it's a lot more of a challenge to me. Also, it's new to me, so.
Have you learned anything from acting that you can apply to your musical career?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the thing that can carry over from acting to singing is just the performance aspect, losing your inhibitions and being really honest with your audience. You know, and letting all sorts of emotions come through.
Okay, here we go, and we're rolling. Speed. And action. No, let's go in again. Sideways, here we go. And rolling. Speed. Everyone out with the shot. Action.
I tried not to open my legs. It's impossible.
I don't think that I'm using sex to sell myself. I think that I'm a very sexual person, and that comes through in my performing. And if that's what gets people to buy my records, then that's fine. But I don't think of it consciously, well, I'm going to be sexy to get people interested in me. It's the way I am. It's the way I've always been. Every once in a while, I'll get a reaction from another performer who's a feminist, a singer. And if I do get anything from them, I think it's really, I think they're jealous and envious of me. And my reply to them is that that's the choice that I've made. I don't, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, and you're not going to tell me what to do with mine. I enjoy this. I'm not, you know, this is my choice. And I'm bringing, I think I'm bringing happiness to people. So it's as simple as that. I think that the world sees images. I mean, you build an image for yourself, and the world ends up seeing only that aspect of you. Maybe eventually every person is multifaceted, and hopefully, you know, the longer your career goes on, the more you can get that out of you. But I couldn't begin to tell you what the world doesn't see in me right now. There's a million things. What I would like to ultimately achieve, I already told Dick Clark once on American Bandstand. So I'll repeat it again and annoy everyone who was annoyed before when I said it. I want to conquer the world. Okay?